Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 120 of the Co-op Podcast. We're joined by a full cast today. This is how you know E3 is in the air. But I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr. I'm joined by Gary A. Swaby. How you doing, Gary?
Hey, what's good, everybody? Good to be back on another show. Let's get it popping.
Yeah, definitely. We also have Mr. Charles Singletary. How's it going, Charles?
Greetings, everyone. Glad to be here. Can't wait to see how this conversation goes.
Yes. We also have Mr. Anthony Frazier. What's up, Anthony?
What's up? My goal is to make new enemies.
Sounds good. All right. We also have Mr. Michael A. How's it going, Mike?
I'm all right, man. How's everybody doing?
Doing excellent. And we have a very special guest today, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Riku-san 1. How's it going, man?
Yo, man, what's good? What's good?
Oh, he has his own intro. You gotta play that for him.
Well, no, yeah, man. I mean, you pretty much a regular on the show now, Mike. So you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which Mike are you talking to? You talk to Mike.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Mike A is a regular on the show. Yeah, you're right.
Look at you.
Your name is Mike too. Okay, so yeah, I gotta call you Riku then on the show. All right, cool. So we there's a lot of news that went down, but we only have a couple of major topics we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you guys what you've been playing. How about we switch it up this time? How about you go first, Charles, and let us know what you've been playing?
All right. Been playing a lot of Project Cars. The review is on thecoalition.com if you want to go check that out. I've been playing Marvel Heroes with David Jagno. We've been doing that on the stream a good bit. I'm about to start playing Massive Chalice and Windward, a couple games that I'll be reviewing. I'm definitely looking forward to both of those. Windward, just, I like pirate games and everything, and Massive Chalice, I'm a big tactical strategy fan, so that's definitely going to be interesting. And I just downloaded this first-person shooter, free-to-play on Steam that just came out a couple days ago. I think it's called Firestorm or something like that. We're going to see what that's about. Probably stream it on the Coalition Twitch at some point, too. But, yeah, there's plenty to play.
Hey, sounds good. And for those who don't know, Massive Chalice is also going to be the Xbox One game with gold for next month. It's the only game worth mentioning because the rest of the lineup is trash. Okay, so I'm not going to bother saying it.
And I don't know if it's ever been done before, but that's coming out when the game comes out. Is going to be Xbox game with gold. Like, the game isn't out yet.
Before? Yeah, they did it with Chariot. They did it with Guacamole, and I remember the other one they did it with.
Wasn't Guacamole out on PC for a long time though? Before it dropped on there?
And PS4.
It might have. No, that came on Xbox before PS4.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought the Guacamole was out for a bit. And, like, Massive Chalice just dropped on PC and is going to just drop on there. So, which I think
right.
Kind of.
Yeah. I know it dropped day one, and it was like free when it came out on Xbox. I was like,
Okay, cool. That's dope.
All right, so since you already spoke, Michael A., what have you been playing?
Smite and Fire Emblem and some Smash Brothers on 3DS, and that's about it. I got a little more Kombat in here and there, but I'm just mainly hooked on Smite right now. So that's about it, really.
I got to get into that because I had that for a long time. Still haven't had a chance to play it, so I will try it out at some point.
It's basically a mobile, but you won't fall asleep playing it because you're actually doing stuff. So that's cool.
We'll see about that. All right. How about you, Riku? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Okay, well, I actually haven't been playing a lot because I've been juggling between different forms of entertainment. So video games, anime, TV shows. I'm behind in Game of Thrones by like 5 episodes and shit. But when I turn my console on, I did start to play Infamous First Light. I've actually missed out on that when that first came out for PC. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Also, I'm playing on my Vita Rayman Legends. So it's just those two games. If you know me, I play my shit in a specific order. I don't like play any other things. I don't really jump around until I'm done with certain games. So that's how I do stuff over here in the world of Riku.
That's cool. Sounds good. Okay, so how about you, Mr. Gary A. Swaby? What have you been playing?
Time hasn't been in my favor, so I've only had time for one game, and you already know what game that is, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I'm loving the game, and I actually spent a lot of time playing Gwent, which is like the in-game card game that you can play kind of thing, and you have to collect cards, and you can beat other Gwent players and get their cards and stuff like that. So I put a lot of time into playing that, and it's actually really fun. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And overall, I'm enjoying a lot of the side quests and stuff. I haven't actually got far in the story mode, but yeah, it's a great game so far. That's about it. That's all I've been playing.
All right. How about you, Mr. Frazier? I know this is a tough question to ask, but what have you been playing, if anything?
Absolutely nothing, man. But I did get a chance to try out something that was pretty cool, which was at the Google I/O conference, and it was called Cardboard. I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to check that out, but Google Cardboard is like this cardboard 3D glasses where you put your phone becomes the screen that your goggles go through, and they have this app called Cardboard. Like, they got apps that are cardboard ready, I guess, and you pretty much control the whole thing with these cardboard glasses. And at first I was pretty skeptical at first, but when I put it together and I put my phone in there, I was amazed, man. I took like, I was in 3D Google Earth, flying around cities. I was taking a tour of Tokyo, different things like that, and it was very surreal. I'm actually pretty surprised that they were able to pull that off with just a phone and a piece of cardboard. And I thought that was pretty amazing. I even played one game, which is like, wasn't really a game, it was more so like a demo, but it was like a roller coaster type of thing where it kind of takes you on a roller coaster ride. You can kind of look around and see what's behind you, so it was pretty cool to get a taste of that technology. The whole time I was just thinking about the Oculus and how Google might have like a cheaper alternative in no time. In no time. They'll have a cheaper alternative to the Oculus. And I thought that was just pretty interesting in general, just to experience that. There you go. That's it.
That's cool. I did see some of the Google stuff, so hopefully I will check that out in the future. But I don't know how much any of that stuff costs, because I know some of that stuff is a little ridiculously priced. The cardboard stuff.
Nah, I got it for free, but
okay.
I think that cardboard. I saw some people talking. I think it was like $6.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I definitely invest in that.
You already got a phone, so you got the most expensive piece of part of the whole setup.
All right, I'm gonna definitely check that out. Definitely. So, yeah, what I've been playing very briefly, of course, The Witcher 3. Just like Gary, I have to say that game, man, awesome game. I know I complained last week about the patches that they had to release, but again, none of that took away from the actual experience. And now that the patches are out and the game runs even better than it ran before, I have no real complaints yet. So, been playing some of that. Went back to Mortal Kombat X. Also went back to Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, because just like Riku, I'm trying to get that platinum. So I'm almost there. Maybe I'll get there soon.
Cool, man.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for now. I'm getting ready for Batman next month and a few other games that are going to be coming out, and of course E3. So.
Wait, what date does Batman come out again?
June 23rd, worldwide.
Okay. So it's after E3. Cool.
Yeah. Summer. It's the game of the summer, depending upon who you ask. But yeah. So, as I said earlier, we only got a couple of major topics to discuss because we have a lot of people on the cast this week that definitely want to chime in and give their thoughts on certain topics. So, Let's go to one of the first major headlines of the week, which I believe is regarding a few statements that were made by Sony this week. First and foremost, Andrew House. Everybody is familiar with this guy over at Sony. He announced that Sony's first-party lineup is sparse this year. When he made that announcement, he also said that they're focusing more on third-party support, which we obviously have seen in the past with the way that Destiny, Watch Dogs, and a few other games were promoted with the marketing stuff. And he also said that the Vita is now a legacy platform, which basically means that they will no longer support it over here in the U.S. So what are you guys' thoughts on this particular topic? Anybody can feel free to chime in.
Let me start first, man. And the reason why I want to start first is because I got hammered in the comments for making this exact same statement that the Sony CEO said. And people, don't get me wrong, yeah, I like an Xbox more than PlayStation. I don't think that's a surprise to a lot of people, but at the same time, I've been kind of keeping it real about every platform. So a lot of people really just glossed over every critical thing I said and got at me for saying the same exact thing the Sony CEO just came out and said. So I just wanted to, tell those guys to fall back, breathe easy. You got a lot of games coming out, have already came out, when you count, a lot of the titles that dropped already for PlayStation, including Bloodborne. But then you have exclusive content coming for third parties, and then you got games coming out next year. So I really don't feel like there's anything to worry about on the Sony side of things. I think people are getting defensive because Sony now looks like Xbox 360.
All right, who would like to make a response next?
So much as responding after last, because I'm usually level-headed person. I was just going to add something to that story. And wait, you said what, Gary?
You were cutting out.
You was cutting out, but I think you're good now.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that the story was updated, and apparently he changed his views on Vita. He didn't mean it was legacy, like they're not supporting it anymore. I forgot the rationale he gave, but it wasn't so much. He says that basically he was kind of misinterpreted in his original statements on the Vita. So I just wanted to put that out there so people don't think, oh, we're just trying to bash Sony and bash the Vita. Like, no, we were just reporting the news. And he did say that originally, and then came back there and said that's not what he meant. So fair warning to everyone. All right, you guys can continue.
I can go next. First, let me talk about the whole sparse thing. Like Anthony said earlier, yeah, there really isn't anything. All these people complaining about, there's not being stuff here to play and whatnot. They're obviously just looking for the AAA exclusives that you're probably not gonna see until like Uncharted 4. That's like the next big one. Everything else is gonna be third party and multi-platform stuff. And this whole people are just blowing this stuff out of proportion, especially with that what you just said earlier, the whole legacy thing. Just people taking words and just running with it. So the whole legacy thing, yeah, there's a lot of classics that come to the Vita, but when I sat down and thought about it, the PSP in North America or anywhere else other than Japan really didn't even get that many like games created for it, versus Japan. So when you take the PSP into consideration and look at the Vita actually got more support in North America as far as North American created games like Uncharted and Killzone Mercenary. In comparison to the PSP, they kind of got, in my opinion, I feel they got more attention than the PSP got. So the fact that they're slowing down now is like, I really didn't care in the first place because it was better than what the PSP had in the first place. And if you look at the lineup as far as Japan has, I still think there's still some good stuff coming, like Tokyo Xanadu, God Eater 2. If you actually look at the lineup, it has as far as what Japan has coming, it's a good lineup. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, people always got something to say. That's about it.
All right, no. How about you, Charles? I think you got something to say.
Basically, with him saying that the first party lineup is sparse this year, that's not news to anyone really. I guess it's news that Sony is saying it, but that's an observation that Cap has made on the show. I've made on the show. You have one that Gary won't never got off of for this like late holiday season last year, but and we've talked about it multiple times. They've been utilizing third parties to. They've been very efficient in their marketing of third party games for the PS4. Like I can't remember which one of y'all said it, but they made Destiny seem like it was a PS4 exclusive almost. The way they treated that game, and the beta content and everything, and the E3 presence from last year. And I still hold true to this belief is that the reason why it's been like that for this year, and the reason why they hadn't gone into great detail about games that are coming out not this year, like something that's come out in 2016, is because they learned their fucking lesson. Like Sony, if we look back, PS3 games and a lot of PS3 games that were announced way before they came out, or actually way before they were supposed to come out and never did come out. Stuff like Agent. Nobody even remembers that exclusive game that was supposed to come out that they announced, and it never dropped. And of course, the whole fiasco with The Last Guardian. But there was another one, like an online mercenary versus spy game. I can't remember the name of it, but that one even had gameplay, just like Last Guardian, and it never came out. So I think that they were perfectly content with spending their marketing funds on third party because they have a larger install base. So it's easier for them to market third-party games and get more sales of those games on their console. What does that do? It's a domino effect. So, third-party publishers and stuff, and even some indie guys will start to lean more in that direction because of the install base and start focusing on shit they don't even care about, DLC, timed exclusive stuff on the PlayStation end. And if they're content, we're clear that they're content with coasting off of that for the rest of the year. And my hope, something that I cannot confirm yet because we don't have the actual facts behind it, my hope is that they did that because they wanted to quietly work on those first-person games that'll be coming out in 2016 and early 2017. We may get a couple of those announced at E3 this year. If that's not the case, I'd be very surprised. But I don't think it makes sense because they've already talked about how there's a lot of their first-person studios developing games, and clearly we haven't seen them yet. We've only seen a handful. So 2016 might be even more of a tipping point than it has been so far. But that's all I got to say about it. Oh wait, actually, in the Vita, the whole legacy console thing might make Riku made a valid point with Japanese support being more handheld. The handheld market is better supported in Japan anyway, so I'm not surprised that they have more
In my
focus
opinion,
there.
I don't think it ever was alive in America to begin with.
Yeah, it's true. It never really picked up that big. Nintendo is like the closest that you're gonna come to it having that large footprint. Nintendo,
Yep.
like that's an anomaly though. There's no model for people to copy as far as Nintendo goes. Plus, look at the apps that they have. Look at the games they have. These other companies don't have that. And Sony never had that. So as far as Americans go, so for it to be more efficient in the culture and the lifestyle in Japan, I'm not surprised. The games that are going to come out there, I don't know all of them, but I'm sure that they're going to get support over there. And for them to say that it's like a legacy system, I never really saw that as a jab in them saying that they're not going to support anymore. But it's no surprise that they're going to slow down with the manufacturing on this end. Because, I mean, if it's still selling it in any fashion on this side, I don't even understand why. But that's it.
Just to capitalize on what you said earlier about the third-party thing with the console side of PlayStation. I do agree with you because I was listening to a podcast, another PlayStation podcast. They do it yesterday, and someone brought up a good point that when you really sit down and think about it, for since like PlayStation has existed, PS3 has really been the only like console in its generation that's been about first parties, or people label it as this is the
first
console to
parties.
get exactly.
Yeah.
When the PS1 first came out, it was they had a shit ton of third party support. Games like Final Fantasy and whatnot, they weren't really owned by Sony. They were third party, third party companies creating them just so happened to be exclusive on PlayStation at the time, and they built up that library on PS1, on PS2. And yeah, they lost a lot of them on PS3 because of the stuff they were doing. A lot of them went over to alternate companies because they were doing better stuff, which is why they started the whole first party thing. But when you think about it, they're always about trying to get a big third party support. So the fact that PS4 is doing that from the get go, people are all confused about like where are all my first parties. I mean, this is what PlayStation's been doing for a while. They're just going back to what they originally intended. You remember how a lot of people before the PS4 even came out, they were comparing it to the PS2. If you're going to compare it to the PS2, compare everything. So compare, its library. The library of the PS2, majority of it was third party. So might as well do the same thing with that.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Okay, can I talk now?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gary. I got something to say after you say it.
Okay. Yeah, I respect what you guys are saying and everything, about Sony. But at the end of the day, Sony are a business, so they're always going to seek that third-party support no matter what. But, I think that Sony know that when it comes to the PS3, the first party was their biggest draw. Like, it was their biggest thing they had. They had the Naughty Dog guys creating classic games and everything. So they knew that was their strong point going into this next console generation, and they had no way of knowing that they would steal the lead basically, and get the most amount of sales for the console generation. So their strategy shouldn't have just been about the third party. They should have been making first party titles and everything. Like from the get-go, from the jump, they should have been working on their first party. So by now, 2015, I would have thought, we would be seeing a stronger lineup of first party titles, and that's my thing, because I bought a PS4 with that expectation that I was going to get a lot of great first party content, and as a PC gamer, the third party titles and stuff like that, I usually buy those on PC. So that's my problem, and it seems like Andrew House kind of just confirmed everything. So, I mean, we got Bloodborne, we got The Order, that's cool. I just hope that we get at least one more strong first-party Sony game this year. That's all I'm asking for. So I just hope we see that.
I definitely agree with you, Gary, with everything you said. I just want to throw this into consideration. When you see like the amazing lineup that the PS3 had as far as its first party library, they had a lot of stuff ending it off. But I think I told this to Hated a couple of weeks ago when we were talking. Compare it. You could also compare it to last generation, since that's the most recent one. When the PS3 first came out in 2006, there wasn't shit there. I can't remember anything. I mean, Resistance: Fall of Man. Other than that, I can't really name anything that the PS3 had in 2006. That was its first year. The second year, the only thing that comes to mind is Warhawk. Everyone was playing Call of Duty 4, so that's the second year of the PS3. This third year was what, 2008? That was definitely the year where stuff started to pick up, where Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, Little Big Planet 1 came out, Resistance 2 came out. So that was around the third year that the PS3 started to actually pick up, and then 2009 a lot of stuff, and then from there, that's when everyone started to label it as this console has really good first party, library. It took three good years for them to actually even get that label in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
So I would,
in the second year, they also had Heavenly Sword, and
oh yeah,
I really love
yeah,
that game.
yeah.
That game
Second
was
Heavenly
great.
Sword, I'll definitely give them that one too. But yeah, my point still stands. There definitely wasn't. You remember that popular quote people used to say from 2006 to the end of 2007? What was it? PS3 has no games. Who remembers that quote?
Yeah,
That thing
yeah.
stuck for a while, and it didn't leave until like the end of 2008. But point is, you can compare it to that also. I mean, AAA games take a long time to create, so and it definitely took a long time for the PS3 to get them. So I would say just give them your uh, third year. Definitely, I'll be on your side on the third year if we don't see in comparison to like the PS3, because then I would definitely be on your side when it comes to all
Yeah, I
live.
mean, maybe I'm just being selfish by expecting too much from Sony at this point, and because I'm a PC gamer as well, and I play a
Hmm.
lot of my third-party stuff on there now. So maybe I'm just expecting too much from the PS4 when really, I mean, they're still kind of kickstarting things, I guess. It's
True.
still early
Yeah,
generation.
exactly.
So,
This generation is supposed to last a minimum of what, 6 years? We're only on year two,
Yeah,
so
mm.
yeah.
and I'll like jump in again too, if you don't mind, Rich. I think that, and this goes for both of us, me and you, and possibly even Mike too. I'm not 100% sure, but I think us having the PC access really skews our thoughts on the consoles and their games that come out. Because if you take the PC out of the equation, like you don't own a PC, right? And you have your PS4 versus your Xbox One. Of course, your Xbox One is still going to have they have more they have more first party games. But if you look at the abundance of games on PS4, because notice they said that their first party lineup is sparse. They still have more games overall that have come out on the PlayStation 4 than on the Xbox. But if you have a PC, chances are you've either already played those games that are on PS4, you've been playing them, or you're going to get them on PC instead of on PlayStation in the first place. So like that goes for like the indie games or the online games and everything like that, PlanetSide and Warframe and all that stuff. If you're just on consoles, things look a little bit different. You're looking through a different shade of glasses, but the PC basically has spoiled us in a sense. But hopefully, and I never thought about the whole the launch the first few years. Like the first year, of course, we always know that the launch for a console is pretty crappy. But I didn't think about the first 3 years of the PlayStation 3's life and everything like that. But it does make perfect sense. And I guess we're just getting impatient because we're coming off of that last generation where there were games just at the end of it, back to back to back to back to back. It was nonstop that we had stuff coming, and then we switch over to these new consoles, and all we're getting is remasters of those games that we were getting back to back to back, and other remasters, and it's annoying. I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, you also got to take into consideration, um, last generation was the longest generation of video games ever, you know, and the fact that they were dropping stuff, back to back to back. You remember a lot of people were saying that this generation started too early, and
It did.
it's definitely
Yeah,
agreeable. It
yeah,
definitely
it
did start too
started a
early.
year too
E-
early, I think.
Even for the fact that last generation was the longest generation we've ever had, this generation still, came too early. Even with that being said about last generation.
Yeah, because when you look at the games, the exclusive games that we have gotten on this generation, and when I say exclusive, I'm not talking about Sony and Microsoft. I'm talking about only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, right?
Hmm.
And even throw Destiny into that equation because that game functioned perfectly fine. I don't know if y'all played it on PS3 and Xbox
Oh, yeah,
360,
oh,
but
okay.
that was a prime example of a game prime example that the last generation of consoles still has some juice, and they're not really doing anything that is impossible on the last generation of consoles. So I feel like I think everybody was rushing to be the first out of the gate, and that's kind of what hindered us getting a whole collection of games early on in the life cycle, because somebody wanted to be first.
Everybody wanted to be the Xbox 360.
Yeah, they wanted to get that year head start and everything. And with Sony, you said before that Sony had no idea that they would be in such a lead that they had. You're absolutely right. They did not know that until Microsoft opened their mouths at that E3, and they were like, well, shoot, we got to capitalize on this now. And Sony didn't do anything special to put themselves in first place this generation, to be completely honest. Microsoft put PlayStation in first place this generation.
Exactly. You're 100% right.
People get mad at me when I say that. I'm like, no. You have to take into account the gamers. I mean, it doesn't matter what demographic it is. Like, when you get a mass group of people together, their IQ drops. It's really easy. So basically, Microsoft says something that a couple people didn't like. They were anti-gamer, so all gamers went anti-Microsoft. Sony could have came out and literally said, here's shit on a plate, $400, and cats would have been in line doing the fucking Antonio Banderas gif, hiking. Now, I'm not saying that's what they did. I have PS4. I don't really know what to say other than shit. I mean, I chat with my friends on there. It's really good at that. It's got that cross-platform chat finally. You know what I mean? So that's an improvement. And then honestly, I can say that the system is probably more improved over the PS. Not even probably. The PS4 is definitively more improved over the PS3 than the Xbox One is over the Xbox 360. But that's because the Xbox 360 had a lot of good things in place already. That's what I'm saying.
As far as like the infrastructure and the
my issue now is that, I mean, both consoles are the same to me. They really are. Like, there people continue to say the PS4 is in a different league power-wise. Not really. If you've seen a PC game run, you're like, oh, no, it's not. You realize that you're just saying shit because you're stupid.
That's been bothering me a lot lately, actually. Like a lot of comments from people who, obviously favor the PS4. They really want to stand next to the PC for some reason. Like they really keep trying to put the PlayStation 4 next to, as if the PlayStation 4 is performing like a top grade PC. And I've seen the differences. Like it's still like they're more closer to Xbox One than they are to the PC. And I said that on the last episode, so that always just kind of irked me. I'm like, yo, this is a $400 box. Like, get real.
Yeah, I think what it is like people. There's like a little bit of a haze that people see through when you look at games that are PC and PS4 intense and only on those systems, like Warframe, PlanetSide 2, stuff like that. They look at that and it looks the same for the most part. Not exactly, but it looks the same, and they're like, oh, PS4 is just like the PC and blah 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 blah. But then you get games like Project Cars that just drop, and you realize that the PlayStation 4 is the exact same as Xbox One, and you got to sit your ass down because the PC is a whole nother world, and it's nowhere near as close.
Warframe on Xbox, and I play both versions of the game. They're identical.
Yeah, and those types of games aren't graphically intensive, so they can be on the same level across the board.
And I
PC for what, 2 years before it even came to consoles?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to be clear about my statements because I know somebody might misinterpret this. I'm not saying the PlayStation isn't more powerful than the Xbox One. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're more identical than they are apart.
Different.
Yeah, than they are different. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So.
And it's crazy. If I recall correctly, even developers were saying this when both of the consoles were coming out. They were saying that developing would be easier because it's so similar between the two.
Now, Charles, you're making a mistake here. You're assuming that the people who actually design the consoles and the people who actually make the games for the consoles know more about the consoles than fanboys. That's hogwash. We all comment section on social media, on the PSN GAF or whatever it's called now. All those sites, those armchair analysts, they know more about the console hardware than the people who actually use the damn hardware. So they know, in a different league. Those people are just saying those things because Microsoft paid them. Illuminati. Seriousness, though, I think if you look logically at it, like basically the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, it's like the difference between Major League and minor league baseball. Like PC is Major League, PS4 and Xbox are minor league. The only difference, people went further in the playoffs than the Xbox One, so they get stronger. But it's a minor league. It's not like it's in a completely different grade on its own. Like no, which
so I
isn't.
have a question then. If you with that analogy, where does that put the Nintendo Wii? Is that like Children's World Series or something?
Wow. I would say, I'd say, in terms of hardware capability, yeah, it's not in the same league as them either. It's probably college. Let's give it 100. Like, but I'm taking into account there are people who go straight from college. Okay, I'm going to do this analogy, but basically, yeah, it's not in the same league as them in terms of hardware capabilities. I think everyone knows that. Even Nintendo said it when it was coming out that they weren't trying to push the boundaries with hardware. They were focusing on new ways that people interact with games and bringing people quality content, which they're actually starting to do. I just wish they would put the same effort they put in the 3DS and all that hotness out on the Wii U, because the 3DS always has shit to play, like all the time. Just always has amazing shit to play all over. I just wish they would do for that on the Wii U a little bit more. And again, I guarantee they've already began focusing on the next console anyway, so it is what it is. But I just don't.
You think Nintendo has?
Oh yeah, I'm confident they've already started working on the next console, because someone was probably smart enough to realize that the Wii U is a losing. You can't. Perception in gaming is all that matters, not what you can actually do, not the games that are out. It's your perception. Just like the original Wii, people say that system's for kids. I'm like, do we actually had some of like the most adult-like games out? I'm not saying that the majority of the games like that were there, but like. You can't tell me Manhunt's for children. You can't tell me that Metroid game was for kids. But it didn't matter.
More Heroes.
Exactly.
More Heroes.
Yeah, no one wants to see or play those games because the perception in that system is for kids. That matters. The perception is that the Xbox and PS3 were for adults. So that's what people got. Same thing now. Like perception is really what matters. Perception is that Sony is for gamers. And Microsoft's anti-consumer and it isn't about games. Doesn't matter those things aren't actually entirely true, but that's what people perceive them to be. That's what people are told by other people. So they go, why? I don't know, laziness to actually learn the truth, or just it's weird to me. I don't get it personally. It is what it is. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Console market's not going to be around much longer anyway. So we're already playing on weak-ass PCs. All that's going to happen is next gen will get slightly stronger PCs, and hopefully we'll actually all be gaming on PC, and we can all be PC master race. I don't know.
All right. I got something to say. I had a lot I wanted to say. I didn't get to say it. Some of you guys already said something I was going to say, so I'm not going to repeat myself on that. What I will say is this. Yeah, I mean, listen. I think a lot of great points were made about it taking time for Sony to get it together. I mean, we already know normally 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to say every exclusive isn't awesome, but 9 times out of 10, you know, when they spend the time to create these exclusives, most of them turn out pretty decent. So I'm completely, you know, I wasn't really surprised at the statement he made. We already know that games like Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy 15, if it comes out this year, most people are going to buy it on PlayStation 4 anyway. So, therefore, it's not really too surprising with the third-party support. One thing I will say, before we move on to the next topic, though, just like most of this discussion that we have had, it has been about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Whereas I mentioned before about the Vita, and the Vita was hardly mentioned in this discussion. So that tells me, yes, the focus is on the PlayStation 4, not so much the Vita. I do agree that there are a lot of great Japanese games. I mean, I'm not a JRPG fan. I haven't really gotten into that to the extent to really want to play them on the Vita. But you have to ask the question, how many of those games are actually going to make it over to the West?
Surprisingly, a lot.
Hey, Rich, man, I got one thing to say about the Vita, man.
Uh-oh.
I don't remember if you guys. I don't know if you guys remember, but when the Vita first got announced and released, I was kind of like, yo, why, right? Like everybody was kind of like, why? Like, what's the purpose, right? Like, why do we need the Vita, right? And now Sony is saying the same thing through their actions. And my thing is like, who makes the decisions? Like, if Vita never existed, like, would we miss it? I don't know. Like, this is me personally speaking here. This isn't nobody else on the cast. This is me personally speaking. But I think Vita was a big waste of time from PlayStation's point of view. I think it was a big waste of time.
In the U.S.
Well, I think, I think strictly from a hardware standpoint. I mean, I like the device. I picked up the device. I did not appreciate the fact. Now, this is where the differences are. With the PlayStation 4, they're telling you now the first party lineup is sparse. I would have liked if I heard this same type of discussion about the Vita having a sparse lineup, because I see a few games, and the other thing about it, Sony may have been all in on this device, but their developers were not, because you see games like Killzone Mercenary, which is made by the actual developers. Then you see these other games, like take the Uncharted game. It's not made by Naughty Dog. It's made by another company, basically helping to put that together. That was Sony Bend, I believe. So,
do y'all remember how it was marketed though? Like in the U.S. at least, how the Vita was marketed?
Was it originally marketed as like a PlayStation home console on the go?
It was a PlayStation 4 accessory. Is how it was marketed.
That's
how it's marketed now. But what Hayden said earlier, that's how it was marketed when it was first coming out. It was marketed as a console on the go with 3G and all of that stuff, and then AT&T, and then all of that shit failed. And that's when they swapped it over to, it's basically a remote control for PS4.
Yeah, and I don't have the device, so I'll have to ask y'all, like, does the remote play work like they said it would?
In my opinion, it does, but it's not worth even mentioning. That's why I hate when they mention remote play every time they mention the Vita. It's just like, that's really not helping its cause. You're basically telling people to play your PS4 with your Vita instead of play the Vita games that,
exactly
are there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know people who actually use that remote play feature a lot.
I mean, but I don't see remote play as and this is me speaking. This isn't based on any fact. You know what I mean? This is just straight opinion right now. But I don't see remote play even as a viable use case.
It's not in my opinion either.
Like what? Why?
I don't think that would be anyone's opinion in terms of like a strong selling. It's a great feature to have on the side. It's dope, but like it's not
at the front.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that.
And honestly, I've even joked with Riku before about the Vita. I like my 3DS. I love it, honestly. I play it probably more than anything.
Wasn't remote play a big part of the Wii U's initial?
With what?
Not necessarily remote play. It was kind of spun a different way.
Where you could use the 3DS as a controller, and then they just got fucking lazy. Why? I don't know. But they were legitimately supposed to do that.
Man.
Still angry at Nintendo that they didn't. That's a missed opportunity. You have games now that you've released on both platforms. You could have had greater interactivity between Smash Brothers on the 3DS and the Wii U if it was possible that people could, like, I don't know, link their 3DS to the Wii U and get like extra characters, extra stages, or whatnot, or even like unranked casual games on the go with people who are at home on the Wii U. These are things that could be done. They're just not doing it because Nintendo. I have nothing to add. I don't know.
There must be some barriers that we're not aware of as consumers.
Nintendo, that's the barrier.
Nah, I was just talking about like in general with like the remote play and streaming stuff. There must be some barriers we're not aware of because y'all know PS3 even had the whole we're gonna do remote play thing. It never happened. And then PS4 significantly, well not significantly, but substantially stronger than the PS3 comes out, and the Vita is significantly stronger than the PSP, but they still can't get it like 100% right, and then Nintendo's thing didn't work out exactly. So I'm like, is there just some ridiculous barrier with the internet service that's like blocking it or something? I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. internet in America does suck. So let's keep it 100.
That's true.
I'm not sure that that's why. I actually remember reading people explaining why it's delaying for years. So I mean, I'm pretty sure Sony will get it working this gen. Anything like last gen, they got ample time for it. But my issue with the Vita is, honestly, they just didn't take advantage of what they had. Like, here you have a powerful handheld device, and thinking, let me make handheld experiences that take advantage of this device. In addition, they're like, let's just take games that are on console and or PS Vita version. Like, no, I'm not buying a Vita to play Marvel vs. Capcom or Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't know. That's stupid. Give me something that's exclusive to a handheld.
Like Gravity Rush.
Like what?
Huh?
Let me just say this. You know that Microsoft is watching this podcast because they are controlling Michael A's connection. When I say something that negative about Microsoft, you know, they definitely, you know. But
before we move on, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, with what happened with the VR, you know, because I personally think it's an issue. I know there's still, you know, a lot of Japanese software coming out for it, and that's great. But, you know, me personally, I think it was a flop, and I regret buying the device. But, you know, with what happened with the VR, I'm kind of skeptical now about what Sony is going to do with VR with Project Morpheus.
What you just said, I was thinking about saying that, but then I figured, well, then that means that this topic will last a little bit longer. But yeah, because you know they're probably going to talk about that heavily at E3, or you know that's supposed to be coming out next year. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they're really going to do this VR thing, they need to fully support it. Like, I don't want it to end up like the VR.
No. I can tell you right now, Gary, I'm 100% in. You know, I agree with you 100% because I also purchased the Vita, and I feel like, well, that was a waste of money. But with all due respect, you know, we'll see what happens beyond this. The VR thing could be interesting. I really don't know yet because maybe at E3, you know, we do get to see some stuff. We'll have a different opinion of the technology, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna be very cautious now about my purchases.
Yeah, I think Nintendo are the only ones that have any business making a handheld platform in gaming.
Agree, 100%. So, any final words on this topic, or can we move on to the next one?
I think we can move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, since this is a developing story, and this is the title of the show. Okay, so yesterday a rumor dropped that said that Microsoft was in negotiations to buy Silent Hills. You know, I figured they were going to buy the whole IP. That's what it said. Some of the wording suggested that they were going to spend billions of dollars, which did not sound correct at all. And then today, Phil Spencer announces and says, no, do not believe these rumors. They're obviously not true. So I want to ask you guys the question first of, well, we know now that he's already said it's not true. Now, do we 100% believe that this is accurate? And let's also play devil's advocate and let's say, well, what if this was true? Would this help Microsoft, or is this, I mean, what do you guys think about the situation? How about you go first, Anthony?
My bad. I thought I was talking. My bad. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, this is one of those cases where, you know, big bad Microsoft come and buy everything, and you know, I guess we get these kind of rumors every year when it comes to Microsoft. I think it was kind of crazy to believe that Microsoft was spending billions on Silent Hills. Like, come on. And then there was a rumor saying that it was 80% complete. Come on, like this game literally just got, you know, thought of, you know, not too far from it being canceled. So it's just a crazy rumor going around. I actually think that a lot of people were not secretly, but like secretly, yeah, maybe like secretly fearing that some part of it might be true. right? Because if any part of that might have been true, then a lot of people would be very upset that Silent Hills would be exclusive to a Microsoft platform. But thankfully, none of it is true, and just another silly rumor. I do think there will be a megaton coming from Microsoft this year, just off a hunch. Will it be as big as that? I doubt, but you never know.
Hmm.
That's it. I'm real light on that one.
All right, how about you, Gary?
I think that parts of that rumor were highly exaggerated, but I still think it's a possibility, to be honest. Like, I mean, I do think it's possible that either Sony or Microsoft could buy the Silent Hill project, but I don't know how far along the project actually was, because obviously there was this big fallout between Kojima and Konami, so I mean, the game might not even be that far in development anyway. It might not even be worth purchasing that. So if that's the case, then yeah, it was probably all just a big rumor. But if they did actually have a lot of the game fleshed out, I could see it kind of happening. But I don't know if it would happen at this E3 though. Like I think it would happen further into the future.
Yeah. I want to ask Charles a question, man. I want to ask Charles a question, yeah. It's a little bit sports related, Charles.
Okay.
If I'm the Golden State Warriors, if Seth Curry asks me for more money, what do I do?
Give him more money.
Okay, Konami, you stupid.
I knew he was going with that. Now, and I wanted to touch on something Gary said. The whole thing about which was probably the most, like the money was ridiculous, but I feel like the most, like the part that was most far fetched was that the fact that the game was 80% done, and I'll tell you why. Konami didn't just wake up one day and decide Kojima was out the door. That was probably a conversation being had with their board for quite a while now, especially considering Kojima has a problem with budgeting for their games, which was one of their issues. He spends too much money. So you think that with him helming the Silent Hill game and him having a problem with spending, do you really think that they let Kojima make 80% of a game while they were about to get him out of the door? There's no fucking way. Like, that game probably didn't get beyond the concept stage in that PT trailer. Like, that's it. And money-wise, so I think Cap said something about if you switched it from yen to dollars, that it would make more sense, and it put it around 8 million, I think. I actually don't believe that math is good either, because if you just take a Silent Hill game, I'm willing to bet that their development costs were somewhere around 8 to 10. And when you're selling off a franchise, like the rumor was saying, it's going to cost more than that, because in the long run, Microsoft would make a whole lot more money off of just that one game. Now, it would have been a lot more realistic if the rumor was like Microsoft is doing like what they did with Tomb Raider, where they're paying to have it finished, have the game done. But even then, look at the names that were attached to this Silent Hill. Silent Hill has a hardcore following. Yes, that's true. These companies aren't investing, unless you're Nintendo, these companies aren't investing in just the hardcore followers. Silent Hill built up a lot of buzz because of that demo and the connection between Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and Norman Reedus. And with y'all on the outs with Kojima and Reedus and del Toro saying, the game's over since the whole Kojima announcement happened, I can't believe that this game would get just paid to get finished without having some kind of deal in place with the people that were behind it in the first place. So that's just my opinion on the whole situation. It didn't make any sense. I do agree. I do believe that there's another Megaton that they may have in the works. This honestly may have hurt Microsoft a little bit, because what if that Megaton they drop isn't as potent as what this could have been? You know what I'm saying? Like, but whoever started that rumor, F them, because it was nonsense. It was a waste of energy. And I saw, Cap might not agree with this, and he always has an issue with the very vocal Sony people. I saw more people on the Microsoft side of things throwing it in people's faces than I saw Sony people getting upset that it wasn't coming to the Sony console.
Okay.
What world are you living in, Charles, where that was the case?
I guess I follow more rational people in this world. I don't know. But that's what I saw more so than anything else. Even today, which I wish Tony was on there. Tony got a blast out of this. We're sitting there arguing with people about how much it doesn't make sense, and there people jumping on Microsoft's bandwagon and arguing it. And then as soon as that news dropped, we ain't seen a tweet from him yet. Like, it got completely silent. We ain't heard a word. We ain't heard a peep.
It was the Silent Hills, exactly.
Oh my God!
Come on, man. That was an easy setup.
These dudes here, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man. That was easy.
I was. I'm kind of sad I didn't think of that, but that's legit. It's completely silent, and all of this buzz blows up, when these consoles have something to hold over the other ones. And I guess I'm so used to talking with y'all, where really, except Gary, we really don't give a shit about the discernment between the consoles and stuff. It's tiring. I was glad that Phil came out and said, nope, it's not a thing. Not because I didn't want the game to come out, but I got tired of people talking about it in the way that they were talking.
Could you imagine if he didn't come out and said, and he just left it up to speculation? This shit would have probably been going on straight up to E3.
Yeah, definitely.
And then everyone would have probably been even more disappointed that they, quote unquote, ignored it when it was never a thing in the first place.
And you know what's funny though? That's what the mass majority would have done. They would have just said nothing and let the hype get attention for them. I respect him for coming out, and even how he said it. He said it, vague words. Said it's not. So he got props from me for that.
Yeah, and you can't leave it in the air, because if Microsoft comes out at E3, blows it out of the park, but they're still up in the air and nothing happens with it, it lessens the impact of what they actually do at E3, no matter what it is. So I'm glad they just went ahead and squashed it now. Like, it's been less than a week, right?
Didn't they announce I saw an article like 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about that their lineup for E3 is the best they've ever had, or something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
So they definitely don't want this,
distracting
false rumor to be a part of whatever lineup they're hyping up. They don't want people to be like, oh yeah, I heard their lineup is crazy, and this is probably one of them. And then they go in there and they're like, oh, that was great, but where's that Silent Hill you got? No.
I'm just trying to figure out who legitimately thought that this was going to happen. What would Microsoft gain from getting this franchise?
I don't know.
And that was the argument that blew my mind today. They was like, oh, Silent Hill has a following. I'm like, bruh, they spending money.
That following is not buying an Xbox One, so
exactly.
No.
Like, it's not just going. Silent Hills. I have a lot of respect for the Silent Hill franchise, but that's not a system seller.
Nope.
It's not going, like, they don't make this deal for billions of dollars and bam, all of a sudden Xbox consoles start going out the window because Silent Hills made a deal. Get the hell out of here. And then, like, never mind. I can rant on that all day. It did not make sense. Like, when it boils down to it, it didn't make sense for Microsoft to make the move. Like Cap said, if they were buying Konami, maybe even then that doesn't even make sense. So imagine them selling off an individual franchise that's not Metal Gear Solid. It doesn't make much sense.
I want my Zone of the Enders. That's all I want, but I'm not gonna get that.
Wait, what was that?
Zone of Enders, man. Yeah.
Hey, I asked a question on Throwdown. Like, which one would you rather have? Like, Microsoft go exclusive to PlayStation, Zone of Enders go exclusive to Microsoft. So I'd love to see Zone of Enders come out.
Interesting. Well, I think it's safe to say that a lot of that was blown out of proportions as far as that's concerned.
Like everything now these days.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But, that it instantly reminded me of what happened with the Tomb Raider announcement. And when that was announced as a holiday exclusive, a lot of people was mad about that. Then when they found out it was a timed exclusive, it's like, oh, well, it's all good. It's all good now. Bit of a double standard there. But we'll see how that turns out. One little quick little thing to discuss, because I know Michael A. wanted to mention this. Now that we know, again, going back to the whole thing of there are certain games that are exclusives to the console, let's talk about Street Fighter. Because everybody knows that Ultra Street Fighter 4 is out on PS4 now. It's having a lot of technical issues. And then they said today that a patch is coming out to address a lot of these issues next week, which is good. But this is the question for Michael A. Considering how this launched, and they had all these issues, now what do you feel about Street Fighter 5, Michael A?
Well, okay, let me just saying, I understand that the people who put Street Fighter 4 on PS4, they outsourced it to, I forgot the name of the group, to port it over, but they have a history of doing really, really bad ports, which makes you wonder why the fuck would you give them business? But hey,
Capcom broke and they had to pay.
Sony's involved in this too. Why would Sony say, okay, you can do that?
You know the heists on Grand Theft Auto? Have you done the heist on them before? You know how you can choose between spending a certain amount of money on better people?
Exactly. They pick the worst dude to save money. But that's the problem. This game, I'm coming at this from an FGC enthusiast perspective. Sony was going to sponsor a lot of upcoming tournaments. CEO that's coming this weekend. Evo's coming up soon. I believe they were going to be involved with East Coast Throwdown. I'm not sure on that. But a couple tournaments were going to be sponsored by Sony. They were going to run Street Fighter on PS4. That was part of the reason. Because for years, the standard for Street Fighter is the 360 because it's the best version. The PC version is great too, but it's easier to just hook up a 360 and play Street Fighter. So that's what they've been doing. Evo's already not Evo. What you call it? CEO, thank you. The tournament is coming up. Has already announced. Yeah, we're not using the PS4 version of Ultra. You think Sony's still going to sponsor that tournament with people playing it on 360? No. You think they're gonna if Evo comes around and that shit's not fixed by then? You think Sony's still gonna sponsor Evo? No. You think Sony's gonna want to continue to contribute to the Capcom Pro Tour Cup? That 500,000 first place check that Sony's helping them build. You think Sony's cutting that check if they're playing that game on 360s? No. So at the end of the day, you're screwing over the community by having a game come out and it's not viable. It's not playable.
The fact that they let that, I do agree with you. It's definitely Sony's fault also, probably, if not more than Capcom's, because they let that shit pass through their quality insurance.
Like Sony knew Capcom's money level. It's like when you take your broke friend to an expensive steak house, you're mad at him for not having the funds to pay for the steak. You knew his financial situation before you took him there. Why are you mad at him? If anything, that's disrespectful of you. You're not a good friend. Okay? So that's on straight. I don't understand this. Like it doesn't make any sense. And to top it all off, they're talking about, we're just gonna patch it. This game is not, you cannot fix this game the way it is. They would have to start over and port the PC version over to the PS4. It's projectiles that go invisible. Okay? 8 frames.
What are the actual issues with the game?
I'm about to list a couple of them. You'll throw certain projectiles. You'll throw them, and randomly they just go invisible. So you can't see shit, but they still hit you. Ultra attacks that auto correct. What I mean by that is, you know how like sometimes you'll do a move, and if someone tries to cross you up, it'll automatically turn you around so it connects, right? Which makes sense. Mm-hmm. Well, it does that twice. So essentially, you'll do an ultra, and you'll just go the wrong direction for no fucking reason. It makes no sense. When you're playing online, you can't even know who the hell you are because the name changes, and sometimes the name just. You're running a mirror match. Good luck guessing which side you're on. Like, good luck with that shit. If you guys don't pick different colors, you're gonna have to trade jabs to figure out. Okay, I'm this one. It's like simple stuff like that. How do you not have a menu system that you fuck up a menu system? Are you kidding? The menu system. The first time you install the game and start it up, installation failed. Reboot. The fuck? What are you? This game is 6 years old.
What version did they port over to the PS4? like the vanilla PS4 version.
Supposedly the PC version, and you know why people? And you know what's so angry? People are so angry about this as well. How did Sony market this game? The definitive edition. All the lag, all the issues.
Did they say that? They said definitive edition?
Yes.
Jesus
The
Christ.
definitive fucking edition. This is the Street Fighter to fucking own, people. This is it. If you want the premium Street Fighter experience, go get a PS4. Get this.
And
okay?
you know what? I was actually thinking of buying this on PS4 too. But
do not. I will not be your friend if you buy this. I'm not joking.
I'm getting on PC now.
I remember Tony was looking at the trophies, and they even got that shit all fucked up.
They fucked trophies.
Yeah, you fuck up the trophy. They had you look at the trophy collection, and it's not even called Ultra Street Fighter.
No, it's called
it's like vanilla or super.
No, it's called Super Street Fighter 4, and within it has DLC trophies from Ultra Arcade Edition, and I think it was like Omega or something, or vanilla or some shit.
So Riku, I guess you're not gonna platinum that game then.
I was never a fan of Street Fighter in the first place, so I'm just laughing my ass off. I don't
Hey, look, if you got the platinum on Super, you already got the platinum for Ultra, apparently.
Exactly. Congratulations, you platinum that shit as soon as if the game decides to finally load and the menus don't crash, you got a platinum. You know, automatically.
I want to.
Go ahead. I'm starting to get angry. Oh my god.
I see that. To offer a perspective looking further down the line, I definitely blame Capcom for not investing in someone to better port this, because it's a port. Like how it's so difficult to fuck that up. Like, you know, as much as I complain about remasters and ports and stuff, like, we know why you do it. It's cost efficient and it's not that expensive to do in general. Now, looking at it the long term, Sony, you have fucked up, my brothers and sisters. Y'all done fucked up, because when the announcement was made, I even have an article about it on the coalition.com. When the exclusivity of Street Fighter V was announced, right? One of the first things, like, ultimately, Street Fighter V is not a console seller. It's going to push it a little bit, but it's not a console seller. Where you were going to find victory with this exclusivity deal was in the competitive market. And you just fucked yourself out of all of that, leading up until the end of the year, where buzz for Street Fighter V was going to start building up. And now you don't have that. You're not going to have that, because from what it sounds like, these issues ain't going to get fixed with a patch. You're going to have to go and buy Ultra Street Fighter 4 and get a whole new rework of the whole thing, a whole new port. So that completely stifle. Well, it doesn't completely stifle. That's exaggerating, but it does hurt the potential of the exclusive deal for Street Fighter V on PlayStation 4, because everybody's gonna be thinking this is gonna be buggy as hell when it comes out.
So but it gets worse, Charles. It gets worse, Charles. Okay. So some people who play game on PS4, it doesn't work. They can't get it to load, period, or it's just unplayable. So they're thinking, okay, well, I swing and a miss. I struck out. Let me go ahead and get that refund, right? Yeah, you can't do this game. And I believe Sony has a no refund clause. So if you buy games digitally from them, at least for Street Fighter, that's what they come out in public and say they will not refund you. So people are like legit trying to build a case now against them for this. And this is shocking to me, because I remember I liken this, not to the same degree because Halo's bigger than Street Fighter. I liken this to Halo when Master Chief Collection came out and was horrible. The only difference is when people demanded a refund from Microsoft, they got a refund. Microsoft didn't say no. They refunded people the game. Hell, they gave people 3 months of Xbox Live for even purchasing the game and having it suck. Sony's basically telling people, well, the game turns on, so hold that? Like, what? What do you mean? No, 25. First of all, people just paid you $25 for a game they've bought 5 times previous. You've gotten enough money out of these people, right? This should have been free on PS4. I'm saying it like that. That's A. B. It doesn't. How do you port over a game to PS4 that you've ported to numerous consoles? There's literally a PC version of the game, and guess what? The PS4 runs on x86 architecture. Porting over the PC version of Street Fighter 4 to PS4 should have taken no effort. All you had to do was have a couple people, and I know I'm simplifying this, but I mean, essentially, this is actually accurate. PC to PC port. You just have a couple people to do the coding, and then you bring in actual people who've played Street Fighter before to make sure that when they're playing it, fucking Hadouken don't go fucking invisible. Because just why would you think that's okay? Why do you think it's okay that characters move and teleport across the screen? Don't fucking like. I didn't know that fucking regular. Were you? Well, only I mean, what do I know, right? I've only been playing the game since the fuck came out, ever, you know. But you basically you screwed over, not even just the FGC, but as or organizers, you screwed them over, okay? You screwed over your fan base because they bought the game, and then when they wanted to get it refunded to you because it didn't, you're denying refunds to them. But you know what's funny? There will be people who either defend this or lead it by saying, "Oh, well, it's not as bad as," or comparing it to an. No, like this. Flag to all people who play on this console, because if this happens again with another game, you're not getting a refund. You're gonna have to hold that shit. If you're okay with that, I mean, cool. To me, that's pretty. If all things of all this anti-consumer talk people are throwing at Microsoft, I don't know. That seems pretty anti-consumer on Sony's part to sell a broken product and make you keep it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, people are just this shit's kosher with these cats.
This shit sounds funny. Here's a broken game, keep it.
That's what, dude. I know. I guarantee you, someone at Sony and Capcom knew that this shit didn't fucking work when they knew it. They knew that shit didn't work when they released it,
Street
and they
Fighter
released it
4
anyway.
Broken Edition.
Right? That shit. Fucking a shit.
I mean, you know what?
Kick rocks.
You know what the thing, Michael? I was actually gonna disagree with you as far as like the impact that this was gonna have on the Street Fighter 5. But you made some points that I didn't think about, which was Microsoft had refunded a lot of people and things like that. Because I was gonna say, no, it's not gonna, they could clean up for this, but I didn't know that the game. Admittedly, I didn't read in too much into this, so I didn't know that the game is beyond fixable. Like as you guys say, I mean. Is it really that broken? That
anyone who played that game and those fighting games will tell you cannot fix this. Or you know what? No, I won't say that. It will take years. We will see a cure for smallpox, and we will in Parkinson's disease before this version of this game is fixed. Broken. I'm sorry. You scrap this shit and that's what you do.
To patch it at all.
No, and which is funny. Oh, we're working on a patch, guys. I'm like, all right, that shit's gonna come out when?
It's gonna come out when Street
Oh,
Fighter 6
let's
comes
see.
out.
I mean, I'm praying that I'm 100% wrong and they patch this shit and it works perfectly. Is that happening? Fuck no. That shit's gonna come out and people are still gonna have the same issues. It's the menu system will actually fucking work because somehow they fucked up the menus. I got nothing. I know
Tony Polanco is supposed to be reviewing this game, so I can't wait to see what he thinks. I can't wait to see that review.
Uh-oh.
Wasn't he like posting like special controllers and shit? It's time to bring out the special controller. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You better have a special controller that can make his inputs go into the future so they can overcompensate for that 8 to 10 frames of lag. Because otherwise, he ain't doing shit. Okay, I'm just keeping it 100. This shit is, oh my lord, I'm fucking sweating over here. I'm legitimately sweating for fucking reason thinking about this game. It's a hot piece of trash. It's a hot ass mess. It's a lot of urban music. Shit is hot garbage. Okay.
Ultra Street Fighter 4 Hot Garbage Edition.
It's just complete. How you?
Yeah, well. Hey, listen. Rest in peace to Ultra Street Fighter 4. Perhaps 5.
I'm done. I'm sorry. I talked too long. I apologize to everyone listening to this. I'll never do that again. But
Oh no, that's fine. No,
shit.
somebody had to, Tony spoke about it on Throwdown, so I'm pretty sure that there was going to be an opinion about it on this show. So I wanted to hear what the opinion was. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the final topic, and this is something that was sparked after I saw that there was some people that they played The Witcher 3, and then they had a lot of comments about The Witcher 3. I know Gary and I had something to say on this topic, but by the time this episode airs, we will be at the middle of 2015. And I was curious if there were any games that any of you have played so far that you think are Game of the Year worthy, or do you think that there are any games coming out later this year that will obviously be in this discussion? So I know I have something to say about this. I know Gary has something to say about this, but I'm actually going to let somebody else go first if they want to. How about you go first, Michael A.?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and initially nominate Street Fighter 4 Definitive Edition on the PS4.
Hot
Fucking Game of the
garbage
Year.
edition.
That's gonna be my Game of the Year. No, all seriousness, I don't know, honestly. I don't really do Game of the Years. I just don't. The last time I did that was Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS, and that's just that game was just fucking amazing and blew everything out of the water by a long while to me. This year, yeah, I got nothing. I can't think of anything. I mean, Halo 5 by default, I guess.
You said Halo 5 by default. Well, I know Others Inc. would love to hear.
By default.
You said by default.
Oh my god. I mean, it's between, for me, it'll probably be between that and then maybe Batman. I don't know. Like, what else is really coming this year?
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, it'll be between those two. Maybe No Man's Sky, I guess. I don't know.
That's okay. So, how about you go next, Charles? We already know your answer.
Metal Gear Solid motherfucking 5. Now, as far as what I've played, there has been nothing that has been released that makes me feel like it's going to be like some definitive Game of the Year lock. But granted, I haven't played Witcher 3 yet, so.
Yeah, me neither. I forgot to say that I haven't played Witcher 3 either. I'm still playing 2.
Yeah, so I don't have an opinion on that.
That's probably why.
Of course, none of us have played Metal Gear Solid 5 either, but I feel like the ambitions that they had for that game, and there's a whole bunch of issues with Konami and everything, but Kojima already got that guap and got his Metal Gear Solid 5 made. So this is operating off the pre-bullshit Konami time. So I feel like with the ambitions they have for that game, and with Kojima picking their pockets and putting whatever he wanted into it, I think we'll get a Game of the Year level game at the end of the year. Now, I'm gonna throw something out there like a curveball. I don't think any of y'all have played it yet, but there's a game called Gigantic that's coming out at the end of the year. It'll be on Xbox One, and I don't know if they're gonna drop the PC and the Xbox One version at the same time, but I've played it, and in a world that's heading in this direction where mobile titles and games similar to it, and they have like this big multiplayer focus and don't really need that single player, as a competitive game, I feel like this game is going to be a Game of the Year contender. It is amazing, and they're doing some really, really, really good things with it. It's in beta phase right now, and I can't say there's like a non-disclosure thing, so I can't say too much about the stuff in the game, but they're doing some great work. I will leave it at that, and that's my hot pick for Game of the Year.
Yeah, sounds good. I am going to respond to that, but before I do that, how about you, Riku? Any games you think will be in this discussion?
J-Stars!
Well, I was actually gonna say that by default, just because I actually haven't played.
Yeah. Well, I know what it is.
Well, that's what I chose last year, and I'll make shit. Nothing this year has impressed me, at least from a fun factor standpoint. In comparison to that, I was going to
Didn't
say
you love
Arkham Knight.
Bloodborne?
I did like Bloodborne, but I don't know. I need to see what Arkham Knight has. I didn't play The Witcher. I did intend on playing that. Not a fan of Metal Gear, but I do respect it, and I do think that as far as everyone else and websites and whatnot, they're probably going to choose Metal Gear. Also, either Metal Gear or Witcher from everyone else, but from me, it might be either Bloodborne, Arkham Knight, or J-Stars by default again. So.
Oh, and I forgot. I think Persona 5 comes out this year. So
I
that.
think that
Yeah,
got
that'll never win. Yeah,
No,
I'm not.
we're just talking about personal choices. Like I still
Yeah.
think I stand by
Oh,
the fact that I think Metal Gear Solid 5 will win. But I'm saying as far as my game of the year, like Persona 5 competing there.
I heard Persona 5 got delayed. Is that true?
I did not know that.
how long did it get delayed for?
I don't know. I just heard it
God
got delayed.
damn! Is there anything that's gonna fucking come out this year?
Yeah, there is.
I'm just waiting for
Ultra
Batman to
Street
get
Fighter.
delayed.
Yeah, no.
Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Batman already got delayed.
Oh my
So.
lord.
There is,
Okay, I'm waiting for it to delay it again until 2016. I'm waiting.
and no, Michael Lay, there is a game coming out this year.
Okay.
It's a game that Brian is looking forward to. It's called Drive Club PlayStation Plus Edition.
I'm done.
And you know what? Right, that reminds me. And I apologize wholeheartedly for the Slightly Mad Studios for not doing this, because if you look at the review for Project Cars, you see how I feel about it. That one could be a Game of the Year contender as well.
I still need to play that.
Man, you need to. If you get it on PS4, which I don't know why you would if you have a PC that can run it really well.
I'll probably get it on PS4 because I don't have a PC that can run it, and because I got Forza on Xbox, and I'm still playing that Forza High Fire.
Yo,
so I'll play.
Holler
Yeah, I'll get it on
PS4.
All right, I'll get that shit on PS4.
Yeah,
that one could be a realistic consider because it's amazing.
I'll also get it on PS4, so add me as well.
Okay,
cool.
There you go.
Let's do this.
Coalition crew. We out there on the roads. Initial D style, taking people out. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say a few things. I'm pretty sure Gary got something to say. Okay, listen. I played a lot of games so far this year. I have played Bloodborne. I thought Bloodborne was great. Now I didn't finish Bloodborne, so I have to get back and I have to finish that. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Order 1886, even though people complained about the length and all the other stuff. I still enjoyed the game for what it was. I know they wasn't trying to go all out with it. But as far as the Game of the Year discussion, all right, Metal Gear Solid definitely will be considered because it is Kojima, because this is a game a lot of people are looking forward to. The same could be said about Batman Arkham Knight, because, again, a lot of people are looking forward to this game, and they know that this studio is not going to make a bad Batman game. With that said, and no disrespect to either one of those, because they can still ultimately win, but if you're going to ask me what is the Game of the Year and what should be Game of the Year, it hands down is The Witcher 3. Let me tell you why, and let me emphasize, CD Projekt Red did not pay me to say any of this, okay? Me and Gary got a chance to go see this game when it was first shown at E3, and I kid you not, we get there, I see that presentation, I was floored at what they did. Anyone that has played The Witcher 2, and then you're going into this game, you will see just how ambitious they made this game. They pretty much made this an open world game, and it had a little bit of those elements in the past, but they brought it to another level. Plus the fact that you have the ability to make choices in the game that actually shape the world, and you can see those happening in real time as you're playing the game. So because of that, those two things by itself, I think this game most certainly is in that discussion, and I will be very surprised if it does not get it. Now, again, Metal Gear Solid is a popular franchise. It is a lot more ambitious than it has ever been as well. So I could see that being in this discussion. Of course, I also do think it is safe to assume that it will be in this discussion because, again, the popularity of the franchise, so on and so forth. But The Witcher 3, for the most part, everything that they've said about this game, aside from the graphics that people complained about, everything they said about this game, you know that they really put their heart and soul into this game. You could tell all that they've done for this, all the changes they made. The combat is vastly superior than it has been in any of the other games. The story, great so far, very compelling. And again, it's just a massive world to explore, and it will keep you playing for a long time. So, again, like I said in the beginning, CD Projekt Red did not pay me to say any of this, but the game is fire. And I'm pretty sure that Gary has some thoughts to say about that, but that's my thoughts on the Game of the Year so far. We'll see what happens with the other games coming out this year, but I think this has to be at the very top of any discussion for that reasoning. But go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, Metal Gear Solid 5. But I mean, I'm kind of lowering my expectations for that as well, just in case it's a disappointment. But I'm still looking forward to playing it because it's been so long. The build up for the game. And as far as Batman Arkham Knight, I'm real skeptical about that game because like they keep showing all this extra content, these pre-order bonuses, and all that stuff. It's starting to make me think there ain't much content in the actual game itself. So I don't know what to expect from that game. But I did have that as one of my possible contenders, but we got to see how it turns out. The Witcher 3, of course, I'm loving that game right now. But I'm thinking there can only be one game of the year, and that game is going to be an exclusive, and it's a game that you guys never thought about.
Oh, here we go.
You better be thinking about this game.
What
Until
game?
Dawn. Until
Okay,
Dawn.
now I know that Gary.
Man, why you gotta take shots, man?
Frank,
Why you gotta be taking shots like that, bro?
Yeah, that's listen, I was not expecting him to say that. Wow, that's
Don't let
that game is a masterpiece. That game's a masterpiece, man.
Hey, look, don't let that game come out and be good because I ain't gonna ever let you live that shit down. I'm gonna be upset about that shit 24/7.
I'm telling you, that game's incredible, man. Wait till you play it, man.
Yeah,
hot fire.
You doing a review for the site, right?
Gary, you've actually played it?
Yeah, I played it at Eurogamer last year and E3, I believe, as well. Yeah.
Okay.
It's hot fire, man.
Yeah, it is fire.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
Wow.
But no, I agree with everything that Richard said about The Witcher 3. And I think that people are kind of downplaying the game now. I mean, there was a lot of hype leading up to its release, but I've heard, more criticism than praise since it was released, and I'm not sure if that's because people expected something different from the game or they didn't really understand what it was. But I think the game is incredible. What was you saying?
I can't count the many times I've read online that something was wrong with X game, and then me buying X game and then wondering what the fuck was wrong with it. Like,
dog, you know what? I feel you on that. I swear people exaggerate just all like that. Like a prime example, like the whole conversation we had with Hip Hop Gamer about him having that issue with Bloodborne or whatever. And I'm like, nobody else is having this problem. I didn't see you have the problem when you streamed it. So I'm like, you take it like an isolated incident. Now this is on everybody. I feel like everybody's taking isolated incidents and blowing that out of proportion when we have real issues like Ultra Street Fighter being completely broken and like a frame rate stutters and everybody wants to fucking die. And I don't know. It's weird. I guess it's just the complaint culture for this generation.
Yeah, I think I blame Microsoft, man, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it seemed like this all started with the whole online only shit, and ever since that whole campaign was what many might claim to be successful, it just seemed like a lot of people now feel like my complaining works. I'm just gonna do more of it. I'm just double down.
It's valid.
On these things. Not saying what Microsoft was initially planning was right or wrong, but it just seemed like it was a snowball effect. Like ever since that moment, now every little thing becomes like a campaign against. Everybody has their pitchfork ready. Basically, I seen a thread today on a forum where people had their pitchforks ready for Need for Speed, and all the details ain't even been fucking announced yet.
But why?
You know what I mean? Because it was claimed to be you have to be online to have a connected experience. So the whole online only thing came about for the whole Need for Speed. But all the details ain't even been released. But yet people already trying to get pitchforks ready.
Well, listen though. I mean, you have to play these games online, isn't it? PlayStation Plus is a requirement to play online now.
Yo, these games. Bruh, man, look, we in 2015. It's not gonna be too long, man. Like, yo, people could try and hold on to the past as much as they want, But I'm telling you, like, it's gonna go to the future eventually, and it's gonna have to drag all these fanboys kicking and screaming. It's gonna have to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't hear about the EA stuff. So Need for Speed. That's interesting. People complaining.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Like this whole complain culture that's out there. Like I hate it, man. Like they always got something to say about everything, and it's it's sad because The Witcher 3 is an amazing game, but it's like now you hear more negativity towards it than appreciation for what they've accomplished,
Yeah,
and
people
even
feed
with
off of it.
no, say what?
People feed off of that energy for some reason.
Yeah, and it's sad. I mean, even the whole downgrade argument, like people complaining that they downgraded the graphics or whatever, the game is still so beautiful. I mean, earlier today, I turned the graphics down to medium so that I could do a Twitch stream, and the game still looked amazing on medium settings. Like, I was amazed. So, people they need to actually try that game out and appreciate it for what it is. And also, with regards to complaining, did you guys hear that FIFA news that came out that they were gonna have
Oh yeah.
women
Every
on
single
box?
person, excuse my language, but every single person that complained about women being added to the FIFA game can eat a dick, because I'm pretty sure that the people that complain probably don't even fucking play FIFA anyway. They just jumped on the whole politically correct, social justice, something. They just want to have either go at them or be on the opposite end of the scale. Like they just have some issue and they just have to be vocal. I can't believe that people actually think this way. I feel like they're trolling, and it's just a mass group of people just out there to piss everybody off because it's psychotic, man.
Yeah, I thought the news was great, personally.
Yeah, I mean, like
the news itself is fantastic. Like they added content. Shut up. That's it. They added content. Be happy.
it's something they've never done before. They've never put women in, FIFA game before, and that's actually something that kind of intrigues me. And I don't even play football like that, so.
And can we point out that they put women in the game before some social justice campaign happened, saying that the women weren't in there? Like, where were all of them then? You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying this, and I'm not saying this because I'm against women being in the game. Honestly, I really care. Like, to me, if you have a problem with women being in FIFA, it's really simple. You buy the game, you don't fucking use them. Problem solved. I'm not to me, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. It's still the same price. I don't care. Like, I don't care. And it makes sense. The Women's World Cup is coming up. They should be able. There are people who might want to use them. They can. You don't want to? Don't. Here's where I understand from. There are people who are saying this is great news. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
His connection's fluctuating.
Connection.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dang it! I wanted to hear what he had to say. Damn it.
Yeah, I really want to.
Damn it! Hold on. I'll come back and hopefully that reset it because.
All right.
I'm on white.
Hey,
I'm telling you, they don't want you to hear me.
I hear you.
Yeah, he actually sounded clear just then, but who knows how long that was lost.
If Batman isn't Game of the Year, man, somebody needs to get fired over there, bro. Like,
why? They have an easy path. They have an easy path right now. Like, not saying that the other games aren't good, but it's like Game of the Year for them has been laid out on a platter. Like, all you got to do is get your shit right, and the game don't come out broken. And because that could be their argument for Game of the Year. Like, when it could be a group of 10 people sitting at a desk putting in their nominations, and all they got to do is lean over and be like, "Our shit worked day one." And 8 out of those 10 people gonna have to shut the fuck up. Because just all these broken games. Even Witcher had its issues, even though it triumphed past them and it didn't break the game.
I highly doubt Metal Gear would come out broken, though.
I don't think it will, which is why it was my choice. But Batman has a bigger following than Metal Gear.
You sure about that?
I think they do.
In the video game industry?
With the Arkham series, man, the Arkham series has been except for that one game.
I
Yeah,
don't
well, I
know.
mean, if you
We're
got
talking
that one
about
player, if you got that one player that only plays like Call of Duty and shooters,
They're gonna
they
get
would buy
Batman.
a Batman game before they would buy a Metal Gear Solid game.
that is
Now,
true.
now to be devil's advocate, all of this stuff that Gary mentioned is an issue. This DLC stuff, this season pass stuff, all this extra content that make you feel like we getting half a game. If they come out and they execute and it's a full game and this stuff is just bonuses, they'll probably walk right on into that game of the year.
Yeah, but what was you gonna say, Riku?
I can't even remember.
Okay.
It's all good.
But yeah, all that extra content stuff they're throwing out for the game is what really turns me off. Truthfully.
I can understand that for sure.
The season pass was $40, so I definitely do not like to hear that news.
Yeah, that too. I hate when
Hell no.
companies promote their season passes before the game's even out.
Yep.
Like, let me buy the game first before I decide if I want a season pass.
Yeah.
I hope that Arkham Knight blows all of the other Arkhams out of the water, because in my opinion, Arkham City is amazing, and I feel that Arkham City is so good that Arkham Knight is going to be better than it, but not that much better in comparison to the jump we're going to see from Metal Gear Solid 4 to 5. Like, we know
That is true.
we know Metal Gear knows how to do a fucking story, and you guys already said that this was basically Kojima's last baby, all wrapped up into a gift and sent to us. So we're gonna know the story is gonna be on point. We know the game's most likely not gonna come out broken, and just single player experiences is what usually wins game of the years. It's usually not multiplayer in these days. I mean, the last game I remember that won because of its multiplayer and its single player, but mostly because of its multiplayer, was Call of Duty 4. Other than that, every other game that won Game of the Year after that was either because it was a great package or it had an amazing single player, and we know Metal Gear is going to bring that.
That is true.
Arkham Knight, I don't know. I mean, we know the story of all of these villains. There's only so much that they can, throw at us that we haven't seen before, either in a comic, a variation, and combat-wise, I just want to see how much they can change.
I mean,
I really don't want it to come out and just be like, oh yeah, it's an Arkham game. This is it. It's fun. It ain't broken. Don't fix it.
So,
nothing really changed. It's a good
so my
game.
thing
But
is that how do everybody feel? I mean, so you talk about these single player experiences. Microsoft has two big games coming out that have a heavy focus on the single player. I mean, the Tomb Raider game that's coming out, and then you have Halo 5. So a lot of people will argue, yeah, it's all about multiplayer, but they've been investing a lot into that story, so much that they even have podcasts dropping every single week that's leading up to the initial release of the thing. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on whether you think Halo can steal that, or do you think it's?
I think Halo has a chance, but I think it's really small because of the biased opinions people have of how deep the Metal Gear story is, or how deep it could be, or how deep it they think it is, even though if it probably isn't, they probably still would say it's this is the deepest story we've gotten all year. Bam. Yeah. Even if it is or isn't. I think it's just gonna come down to just a bias thing, regardless if it's good or not.
The Halo guys aren't going to be as vocal about a solid, really good single player as they would be about the multiplayer.
In order for Halo 5 to beat out Metal Gear 5, in my opinion, they have to bring it on every aspect. Single player, cooperatively, competitive, everything has to be perfect day one for them to. I don't know. I just think higher expectations for Halo versus Metal Gear.
I agree, and I just want to add one little quick thing to this. Everything y'all said is 100% correct. If I could add on to what else was said, no, because everybody is not going to get to play Halo because it's only on Xbox One, whereas these other games are going to be on every platform.
That is definitely true.
So that's
valid.
a factor.
Yeah, I know what Gary said.
No, I
I
don't
don't know
think
if he
that's
was.
true. I don't think that's true. The reason why I'm gonna jump in and say that is because Last of Us, that was one of the best games I played last year.
Well,
But
Was
it
that
also it
last year?
didn't.
I mean, the year before, right? What did you drop? The year
It was the
before.
year before that it
Yeah,
won.
but it was only on PlayStation, and I can argue that was game of the year.
that
It
deserved it.
did win though. It
I
actually did
mean,
win.
you have to take into consideration the Last of Us is definitely in a genre that isn't really pushed on that much in comparison to Halo. Even though Halo, you can easily say that Halo was the game that popularized first-person shooters for console games, and the fact that there's been so many other first-person shooters that came out, after Halo, especially Call of Duty, that's that has taken away Halo's game of the year back in 2007. There's been a lot of focus on first person shooters, so that's what I was saying earlier. There's way higher expectations for not only Halo overall, but that genre. That everyone's expecting Halo to push the first person shooter genre to the next level, like it did back when it first dropped.
One other thing too, real quickly. We can't act like 343 is not going to get a little bit of flack because of the Master Chief Collection. Again, we have to go back to this example because it didn't work when it came out. Now, maybe it worked for some now. One of our regulars, their comments, it works for him perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure that rubbed people the wrong way because that was the one game. You can't mess that game up on the Xbox console, and it had a bad launch. So I'm pretty sure that 343 is now really do have a lot to do to get people engaged and make them care about Halo 5. Also to sell that this thing is going to work perfectly fine when it launches. So that is.
And
I just think it's
that
sad.
dude was lying anyway.
I think it's sad because I don't think, regardless of what 343 can do, they can come out. It could be a perfect game, and I think people will still be like, it's alright, even though it's everything, even though it's
The
everything
expectations
more.
are unrealistic.
Yeah, I think I said the same thing about Kingdom Hearts 3. I think the expectations for Kingdom Hearts 3 is way too high. Also, when that shit comes out, everyone's gonna be like, Kingdom Hearts 2 is better. But that's my opinion. I just think nostalgic is just gonna hit people for both Halo and Kingdom Hearts 3, and then it's gonna be a good game. But I just think people are gonna be like, oh, Halo 2 is still the best Halo.
Yeah,
I think they
two
can go
things.
for
And then they're
Kingdom
gonna give it to Metal Gear.
Now, two things. Firstly, yeah, I was joking about Until Dawn. That game's terrible. It's trash. And secondly, I think because Dragon Age won last year, right, at the VGX, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because that won, I don't think they're gonna give it to The Witcher 3. So I think it's more likely gonna be Metal Gear Solid or Batman that wins. I think it's between those two, really.
I don't know about that.
First of all, let me just interject and say real quick. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Man, it's not perfectly now. Perfect.
Huh. I don't know what the hell fixed it. All I did was change my headset. Anyway, I would say this much. Number one, it was a crime that Dragon Age won Game of the Year last year over Shadows of Mordor. Hold that if you're mad. I don't care.
It was a crime?
Yeah, it was a crime. And if you're mad, hold that L to your chest. I don't care.
Wait, but it's still a win. That's still a win-win because neither one of those were.
No, Shadow of Mordor it's not close. It's Shadows of Mordor. Number two, where I'm going with this is this. The Halo point you guys are making, Halo won't. Even though I put it as Game of the Year, when I say that, I say for me, Halo won't win Game of the Year. It can't win Game of the Year. Halo has gotten to that point where it's already past that point. Actually, Call of Duty's there. It comes out. The Halo fans like it, but everyone hates it because Halo used to be that go-to game, just like Call of Duty. Remember when Call of Duty was? Everyone loved it. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I missed it because I wasn't here, but yeah, Rico probably said it because Call of Duty was at the top. Everyone loved it. Now everyone hates it. When you get to that peak and then you come off of it, you can't get back up there again. Like for Halo 5 to come out and be a masterpiece, people will not care. A, because the Xbox One isn't selling as well as the PS4.
Exactly.
And B, because it's Halo. And actually C, and this is the reason Rich brought up earlier too, the whole Master Chief Collection debacle. Yeah, people are still a little salty about that, as they should be, because the shit didn't work. So a lot of people are just not going to bother with that game at launch because they want to make sure that it works, and I don't blame them. So I don't think Halo is going to be there, and it's unfortunate because that, I mean, from what I'm seeing of the story, is looking like it's going to be quality. Then again, honestly, I don't think Game of the Year. I don't think winning Game of the Year this year is really much.
It doesn't really mean
anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like, we'll look back on this year, and there'll be an asterisk next to that. Whoever wins the title, like, nobody will care because there's really no competition. It's like when you're running for office, and like you're running unopposed, so you win. Did you really win? Did you really win, or were you just, well, no one else wants to do this, so you can do it? Like, that's essentially what's kind of happening gaming this year. Everything is leaving 2015. I'm not even sure if the Division is still on lock for 2015. Is it?
That's delayed.
No, that's definitely not this year.
2015.
So that's delayed. So is Rainbow Six still coming this year?
Yeah, that's coming.
So that might be able to actually get some shine. It's a franchise that deserves it. So as long as Ubisoft doesn't do the stupid thing and make it where Siege is the only playable mode, as long as I can play my old school Rainbow modes as well, I see no reason that game couldn't be in the discussion. Then again, I don't really care about Game of the Year anyway.
I think that game will be a disappointment. Rainbow Six.
You shut your mouth, Gary.
I don't think it'll be a disappointment.
I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be a disappointment, but I think it's going to be just based on what I've seen, heard about the alpha and everything. Like it, and plus we haven't really heard much about it, considering it's dropping in a few months, right? Like, isn't it supposed to drop October or something?
Yeah, October. The other thing is that game is nothing like Patriots. When they showed Patriots, I said, okay, I'm all in. Now I'm not really too sold on this other one, but maybe it will still.
That's just the Ubisoft effect. No, they did that with the past like 5 games they've dropped. That's just the Ubisoft effect.
It's just
Division. They did it with Watch Dogs. They did it with like 3 Assassin's Creeds. It's just Ubisoft. That's just what they do now. They show you a trailer, they blow your mind, and then they show you another trailer, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And then the game comes out, and then it's broken. Then they patch it, and then nobody cares. Then it happens again.
I really hope Rainbow Six does live up, though, because I loved the Vegas games. So
I think Siege is going to be... I think they made the mistake, and I think we'll find out about it at E3. I think they made the mistake of not coming out and saying what Siege is going to turn out to be from day one, because I think it's going to be like Evolve. I think it's going to be on the multiplayer only. Not in the sense that saying Evolve is bad. Evolve is good, but people aren't. I don't think they're not wholly accepting of the whole multiplayer only thing. Look how Destiny is an anomaly because it ended up pulling it off. But I had probably $500,000 worth of marketing did that shit. But Siege is probably going to be online only, and another reason that makes me think that is because of Patriots. And they're probably spending more time on that one, which that'll be the big Rainbow Six game further on down the line. Siege is just going to be multiplayer, which is not a bad thing.
Wait,
but
they're
you
still
need to
making
come out
the Patriots?
Possibly.
I thought that they canceled Patriots. They announced it the year that they showed Siege at They said, yeah, Patriots is canceled. And I was mad. Canceled. Yeah, I thought it was 100% canceled because that's why I'm so salty. Because I was like, Rich, when I saw that Patriots trailer, I'm like, yes, I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And then I was just waiting for years. Like, I had that shit as my wallpaper on my laptop, on my phone. I'm sitting here. I swear, I'm not even bullshitting. I swear to God, I still have the folder. I still have the Rainbow Six Patriots folder. I'm not bullshitting. And I'm sitting there waiting. Like, I need this in my life. Let's fucking go. The Rainbow Six Siege. I'm like, what is this? A game mode in Patriots? Okay, let's watch this. And then I'm like, wait, this is the game. What the fuck happened to kicking that dude off the bridge? Where is all that at? Like, what's going on? And then they show gameplay, and it's only a Siege mode, and no other mode in Rainbow. So I'm sitting here like, are you sure this is like a Rainbow Six game and not just a mode in the real Rainbow game? No. Rainbow Six is the game. Patriots got canceled because it wasn't next gen enough. All right, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's going to end up being just
have the assets, and they bring that back to this gen, just remake it with the assets that they already have, because we need that game definitely.
Yeah, just change the name up, basically. Since Patriots is canceled, put it into something else. But I think Siege is going to be only multiplayer, and that's it.
Is that confirmed? Like, is it?
No,
confirmed?
that's not confirmed. I think that is. That's
Okay.
why I think we'll find that news out at E3, and I think they made a mistake by not saying it beforehand.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what could happen? E3 could happen, and then they show a single-player trailer that just looks surprisingly like Patriots did. That would be awesome, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, keep those expectations in line. We'll see what happens. But
I gotta pull Gary and keep him low, I guess.
keep them low. Keep them reasonable, I guess. But I think that pretty much concludes this week's show. You guys have any final words that you would like to give? I'll let you go first, Mr. Anthony Frazier. Any plugs?
Nah, man. Just hope everybody, had a good time listening, and shout out to all the dudes in the comments, and you make the show worth trolling.
Definitely. Okay, Mr. Charles Singletary.
Glad to be on. It was a good episode. Large cast of people, but I think we managed it pretty good. I do want to send a shout out to Fern Gully for the comment that he put on the Project Cars review, because that's some legit shit. That hit me right in the feels, man. And I appreciate that. And that's what we do it for. We do it for the fans like that, not the trolling idiots, the legit fans.
Agree 100% with that comment, and I co-sign everything you did. We appreciate that, without question. Michael A., any final words?
Well, because of me not setting my stuff over right, so I gotta hold that myself. You guys missed what I was saying about FIFA, so I'll just synopsize it real quick. Basically, all I was saying is FIFA 16 it'll be the same FIFA game you just played, except with women in it. And you don't have to play it. God damn. It'll be the same game with women in it, so just don't use women if it bothers you that much. And if it doesn't, and if you're actually looking forward to buying FIFA because there are women players available, and maybe you're a female soccer fan or football fan who's never played FIFA before because you didn't always want to play with dudes, congratulations. Now you have an entry point into the franchise. So I'm like, hey, pick up the game, support it. Only thing I can see as a negative is if this is the big feature that they're adding female players and that's it. They're not improving gameplay or rebalancing the horribly balanced via pro mode where you have to make fucking Samwise Gamgee fucking heighted players to be good because they're super short and just run all over the place. Then yeah, they can miss me with 16. But hopefully they'll improve the game and add the females. So it's not the end of the world, people.
It's gonna be funny if that game comes out and all the female characters have like lower stats than the males.
Yes.
I mean, and no, if they're smart, what they'll do is, and they probably won't, but if they're smart, what they'll do is they'll have a separate table of stats for women, and require that if you pick a women's team, your opponent also has to pick a women's team. That's how you balance it. Because if they were to have it where, yeah, they threw them all together, nah, they can't. We'll let them do that. But then if they did that, then you would see them numbers be lower, and people would be really, really salty. And EA's got to be smart. You can't have. I'm sorry, you can't have Messi with the same rating as any female soccer. Like you just can't. It's no. So
it's going to be sprinkled somewhere. You can't dodge it forever.
They should. They should have just made a separate game. They should have just made a woman's. Because you know how they make the World Cup games. Whenever the World Cup, they'll have the FIFA games they have every year. Then when there's a World Cup, they'll have the World Cup edition. Why not have a women's World Cup edition? That gives them all the shine that they deserve, and I think it would sell well because people watch the World Cup.
Yeah, they should have did that.
They should have did that. I don't know why they didn't do it, but whatever. Doesn't matter to me. It's not like there's bigger issues in gaming right now with games not working. Street Fighter versus there's girls in FIFA. I don't care. I honestly, I'm gonna tell you right. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do when I get FIFA 16. There's girls in the game, and then I'll never use them. It's just like when I play UFC. I never played as the female fighters. I had no intention to. I don't care that they're there. It didn't hurt my gameplay experience.
Ronda Rousey is fire, though. You got to use.
No, the reason I didn't use female fighters is because why would you pick any female fighter not named Ronda Rousey? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
You mean like what's the point? Like I'm not getting bopped, so I'm not just so what's the point? I would only pick her. So it's pointless. No, because the way the game works, and remember I'm starting to ramble, but yeah,
you're right.
So for me, it's just pick your battles, man. There are more pressing issues in gaming than this. This is not something to be upset or even make jokes on. If it bothers you, you know how the world is today. You're not supposed to be able to say certain things. Just don't say anything and just don't buy the game. But to say stuff online, they're going to attack you. You know this. So, like, why respond? Like, why? It's like people want to be villains, I guess. I don't know. Everybody wants to be fucking Harvey Dent. Like, why? I don't get it.
All right, Riku-san won. Any final words?
Oh, Lord, really? Why you do this to me? Don't worry, I ain't shit. I never will be shit. Riku-san won over 100 finals. I don't know. I'm out. No shout-outs.
Welcome to yeah.
All right, how about you, Gary?
Yeah, I've actually had something I wanted to say since the last episode, but I didn't get to say it then. So I'm gonna say it now. You guys can respond now, or you can wait till the next episode. It's up to you guys. But this whole Tomb Raider deal that Square Enix made with Microsoft, I feel like they made another deal with Sony, and I think we are gonna see Final Fantasy 15 release exclusively on the PS4 for a certain period of time.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Gary. Before Charles asks,
Charles is space right now.
What's up, Charles? What's up, Charles?
Gary, what about Final Fantasy VII Remastered Edition?
Oh, stop talking about it.
Don't bring that game up to me because I don't care about a Final Fantasy VII remake. I don't even want to see a Final Fantasy VII remake. If they bring it out, great, I'll play it. But I just want that game to exist as it does in my memory because that's the Final Fantasy VII I know. I don't want to see them remake it. I know a lot of people want to see it, and that's great. And if they do it, then that's great. I'll play it. I'll buy it because it's Final Fantasy. But I personally don't care for it.
You are part of the problem.
Just give
why am I part of the problem? Why am I part of the problem?
Can I just
if it says Final Fantasy on it, you'll buy it. You're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because that franchise represents quality, like everything about it.
No, not every game in the franchise, but yeah, go ahead.
So
every single game. Every single game.
Are you high? Did you play 10-2? Do not make me get angry, Gary.
This man said he done played 10-2 and 13, and he know damn well them games was boo-boo.
No, they weren't boo-boo. 10-2, the story wasn't as good as the original 10, but the sequels never are. That's why they don't really do sequels much.
Incorrect.
But the gameplay itself, the core gameplay was great.
13-2 and Lightning Returns were better than 13 because 13 was boo-boo.
No, I disagree. Well, those games were better from a gameplay perspective, but I do think the story in 13 and the music production and everything was fantastic in 13.
You Final Fantasy fans out there, when you guys are wondering in a couple years why the series continues to deteriorate, it's
thank this man right here.
People like Gary Swabian. Right here. Look at his face. Say something, Gary. That guy there, that's why your franchise is going to shit.
Have you played the Final Fantasy 15 demo?
No, I have not. I'm not saying that 15 is bad or not. I don't know. But I'm saying that the ones I've played recently are bad. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan like you.
Square Enix, they know when they've done wrong. And trust me, they're working on it. They're trying to fix
even if you are right, and honestly I would hope you were right, because I don't. If they got Final Fantasy 15 exclusive on PlayStation 4, Microsoft wouldn't care, because people who play Xboxes wouldn't care. No one would care. It might as well be an exclusive to PS4.
I can squash this real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. It was already a PlayStation exclusive before. They wouldn't go backwards. This was versus 13, remember?
I know, but it won't. The idea is it won't be a full exclusive. It'll just be timed. Because they made that deal with Microsoft. I feel like they made a deal with Sony too for another game.
No,
I mean, I feel that certain games deserve better ratings than they get. Doesn't change the fact that they didn't get those ratings. You know, I don't see this happening. I don't see this happening. And you know what? If it is a time exclusive, the time needs to be forever. That shit needs to stay on PS4 and never go to another console. That's the time that it needs to be exclusive on the PS4. Like, just put it on this PS4 exclusively. I don't think it's gonna take. I mean, yeah, they'll lose a couple million sales, but I mean, what do they care, right?
And there's something I want to bring up after the show because it'll start a whole other conversation.
I mean, it's just a theory, but I mean, even if it's not the case, it pretty much is an exclusive anyway, because we all know it's going to sell the most on PlayStation 4 regardless. Yeah. So
and I actually is exclusive. I agree with you that they may have made a deal, but I don't think it has anything to do with 15. I think it has more to do with that tech demo they showed with the wizards and everything before. Whatever game they built off of that. Yeah, it may even be the Dissidia arcade game. That might be exclusive.
Yeah, that could be it.
Like Square Enix probably has to dish that money out.
So like I said, I know we'll see what happens. We'll probably discuss that on a future show. I want to say this real. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had my shout-outs as well before you go. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
So firstly, shouts to Riku-san for hitting me up and coming on the show and everything. And we spoke about Otaname and everything. And I listened to the first episode, and I definitely want to commit to getting back into anime now. So yeah, shouts to you.
Man, you geeks.
Oh
man, you watch anime too, Mike.
You don't know that.
So you don't know. Where's your proof?
Yeah, so shouts to you, and shouts to all the commenters. Shouts to Killer Instinct, who hit me up on Twitter while we was recording this show. And shouts to everyone in the comments, Fern Gully, Others Inc., of course, Seth, Final Stage Boss, all you guys that comment every single week. You make it worth it. And I think that's it.
The people who made Killer Instinct hit you up?
No, it's this guy that we speak to on Twitter.
No, it's the guy named Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he an Xbox fanboy?
I don't know.
No, but he claimed that you was an Xbox fan. So that's what it is. No, he claimed that Gary was an Xbox fan. That's why I said, interesting to give him a shout.
I don't even know who that is.
You're not an Xbox fan, Hated. You're an Xbox ambassador.
Yeah, that's
all right. You know, Riku, you trying to throw shade? Okay. All right. I got something for you. I'm gonna let the spirit bomb build. Go ahead.
Hey man, if you ain't know, come on, that's good enough. I'm just trying to get my revenge.
Yeah. So, yeah, I want to give a few shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to Red Inferno because he actually was on the Throwdown, so it was good to see another fan make an appearance on the show. That was awesome. I think they did a good job over there. Shout-outs to you, Riku, for jumping on. I didn't know you were jumping on until yesterday, so I appreciate you jumping on and giving your insight. So that was awesome. Everybody on the cast, of course, all the fans, the Fern Gully comment, of course, just like Charles said. That's an awesome comment. Glad that you left it. Glad that you enjoyed his review. Glad that you shout out everybody on the coalition for putting in work. So I respect that. But yeah, everybody looking forward to E3. We are too. We got some things planned. You can look forward to the site for that. And last but certainly not least, I want to give a personal shout out to Microsoft because I was just informed that Halo 3 ODST is out now and it's just as buggy as Master Chief Collection. So congrats.
Damn, I just downloaded it. It doesn't work. God damn, Microsoft.
Yes, congrats. I'm pretty sure Others Inc. will leave a comment, but, I'm going to play it for myself to see how jacked up it is, and I'll talk about it next week.
How does that happen?
It's just like, PlayStation, you trying to beat us when it comes to broken games?
That's what it is. It's like, I swear they're having a competition about who can release the most ass ports possible. Like, that's the battle right now. And Microsoft is winning. They're up 2-1.
Nintendo's just over here, just flawless.
Right?
Completely flawless.
All our ports work.
When was the last time they released a buggy game?
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Mario Sunshine had the first one, I believe, had glitches, but it weren't like game-breaking glitches. They were glitches that people actually found fun, and they only found them after beating the game like 10 times. So, yeah.
Shout out to.
Meanwhile, Master Chief Collection doesn't even fucking work.
Should ask is when was the last time you'd seen a game come out for the Wii U That should be the real question.
Oh no.
No.
You know what? Hold on.
It's too late, Josh.
It's too late. Why are you gonna say this? The show is ending, and why are you gonna say this? And you know I'm here, Gary. Like why?
Splatoon is about to drop, and it's about to drop some.
I would say Splatoon literally just dropped. The people are playing it. Like my roommate has it. My boy Roger has it. Like they've been going nonstop on Splatoon.
And it's fire. I can't.
And you know what? It fucking works. Woo!
I wish I could play it right now.
Is that game online?
Fun.
Yes.
Okay.
4v4 online.
And it runs smooth online and everything?
Yep. This is a Nintendo product. They don't put out garbage.
Okay, props to Nintendo.
Alright,
We gotta end the show.
yeah, that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned.
I hate you, Gary.